The Second Amendment is the most vital amendment because without it, there is no First Amendment. Because if you say that you have the right to free speech and freedom of religious expression and everything else, but you have no way to defend that right, then it's meaningless. It's what separates Americans and America from the rest of the world. We and only we enjoy those rights because they're written into the Constitution as inalienable and as given to us by our Creator, not endowed upon us by our government.
But we all know that the Second Amendment is not about us owning a gun.
That's right.
Anything that would adversely affect our liberty. That's what the gun gives you, the ability. It's the great equalizer. It makes her as strong as you or I.
Yes.
It makes anybody here at this table equal.
We have God-given rights that are inalienable and supposed to be protected by our government, but too many people don't understand what that means.
But the problem is that people don't realize that every time you give up a little bit of your freedoms, a lot more freedom gets washed away. And so when they give up their right to say and do things because they think it's being polite or more politically correct to do so, they don't realize those freedoms aren't coming back. Once they're taken away, they are gone. And they're vitally important because our way of life ends when our freedoms end.
About a year ago, I was down here in Dallas doing some work. And one of the individuals, one of the other instructors, is a Afghan veteran. And I noticed that, you know, he was missing about half of one of his hand, and his head is pretty scarred up. He had 2 prosthetic legs as well that I hadn't noticed before. And he does firearms training now because he's medically retired from the military. He said I'm having a little bit of an issue with the school back in where he's from. And he has a child that has a disability and receives some in-home tutoring and care. The school said that because he possessed weapons, firearms in his home, that no one from the school would come to his home anymore to provide the services and that for his child. I said, they can't do this.
No, they can't.
You know, it's illegal.
But they
cannot do it.
They do.
And that's the issue.
The United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Second Amendment is written. It's actually written. It's codified. And they are taking what's in there and ignoring it because they don't like it. And it's unbelievable.
The thing that just ticks me off is this guy gave up both his legs, half his hand, and wounds all over his body. I mean, this guy's a hero, okay? We won't have the freedoms that we enjoy, the freedom of the press, the freedom of religion, you know, the freedom to speak out our mind on whatever subject we want to. We won't have those freedoms taken away from us. And it's the Second Amendment that guarantees that Americans will be able to enjoy all of those freedoms that we have since inception of this country.
I mean, literally defending our America is more of an apropos title for the NRA than the NRA is. National Rifle Association doesn't really represent what it is. It's not just defending the Second Amendment.
No.
It's defending the First Amendment as much or more than it's defending the Second Amendment. Because without groups like the NRA, we would not have most of the liberties we have today because they've done so much and been so effective politically, publicly, to defend those rights. Because you take away the Second Amendment, what freedom is left?
That's right.